Hello there and welcome back. I'm so excited. Yay! I took a week off last week because of my birthday and I wasn't planning on taking a week off. We were supposed to have this part 3 last week. Excuse me. And hi Angelica, how are you? It's weird because it's not showing me anyone's here yet, but people are commenting. So hi if you're here. I'm so excited because I really needed to take a break and I didn't realize that I needed to take a break. And so I took the week off from posting at all on YouTube and it was really refreshing. But now I have so much that I want to share and I'm so excited to get into part 3. I look forward to these live streams every single week, and the fact that I took it off. Honestly, you guys, I was really hungover last week and I didn't feel well. I had a weird breakout, and so I was like, I just need to take a break. But I feel so refreshed, so charged, and I missed you guys so much. So I hope that you're ready. I'm gonna wait a little bit more for people to start rolling in. I can see that they are. So catch me up. Tell me how you are. Tell me what you're drinking. Tell me where you're at right now viewing in the world. And we'll get started. I'm currently drinking really cold, nasty coffee with almond milk. But the mug is really cute. It says bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and it's a little squirrel. I love this. Crow Girl 17, hi, you finally made it to the live stream. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So welcome. Laying in bed, enjoying my day off. Angelica, I am wearing the Frog Prince lip balm lipstick that you got me. I am obsessed with it. I love it so much. So thank you. Okay guys, so I'm gonna have to recap some stuff, so we'll get into it, and then as people come in, they'll probably gain momentum with us. So I wanted to recap a few things. Where do I even begin? Okay, so last week, this is part 3. Last week we went over Cancer, Leo, Virgo. I had a lot of comments on the playback of last week's live stream, particularly discussing the energy and sign of the sun in Leo. And while I'm not calling anybody out, and I think that they were just voicing their opinions or their experiences down in the comments, I did notice some people might have not been, maybe as happy with the way that I described Leo as some of the other signs. And I do just want to remind everybody that this is my personal way that I was taught. This is over the experience of the years that I've been doing this, or even just, discussing signs with people or reading natal charts or what my grandma's taught me. I'm doing the best that I can to describe the planets and the signs in the most general blanket way. So there's so much that influences the signs. There's so much that influences you as a person. So if you are, a Leo and you feel like when I described it, it didn't fit you, or that it was shedding not as positive of a light as you would have liked, or whatever, there's so much else that factors into you. And I hope that you can just understand that I can't cover everything in one live stream over, the energy of your sign or the planets that it's in. Again, I'm not calling anybody out, but I did notice, I do see your guys' comments. If I don't have the time to respond to every single one, I'm sorry. I try to at least heart it so that you know that I saw it. Yeah, you can only do so much and for free. Thank you so much, Bella. But I just hope that you guys know that, and some of the signs when I'm describing them, I am aware that it can come off, in more, it's sounding like it's challenging or negative aspects, and that's not my intention. It's all how you want to use it. Last night, I was getting together with girlfriends because one of my best friends just got engaged, so we had a little engagement get together. And they were all asking me about their signs, and I obliged and told them, and I brought up Taurus and I used the word stubborn, and some of them were kind of not offended, but I don't think that you're stubborn, or I don't think this person's stubborn, and I said, well, how do you view it? Do you view it as stubborn as it's your way or the highway, or that you don't budge and it's a negative? Or are you stubborn in the fact that, like, when you want something, you're stubborn enough to stick to it and to make it happen? So it's really all relative, however you want to choose. And I'm sorry if some of you were unhappy with the way that I described Leo. I did the best that I can, and I'm going to continue to do so for the rest of this. So just keep that in mind. Again, no one said anything mean or anything. I think, you know, I did say that Leos can be kind of an easy, surfacey sign to, it's just really, to me, it's a very easy energy to understand and to explain. But yeah, and some of them, like we'll get to, Scorpio is a very intense and deep sign to understand. So anyways, I wanted to preface that beforehand. Another thing I wanted to preface is that I am doing this for free because I love it, and because I love you, and because I want to teach you. And you guys have asked me so many times to do something like this. This is the best way I can find to do it. If you find it in the kindness of your heart to donate to this live stream, or not, donate is not a good word. You guys come up with the word you want to use, but think of it as like a, you know, here's what I want to give to, you know, I'm a Scorpio, be careful. Don't worry, I'm dating a Scorpio. I will be careful. It's one of my favorite energies. But you know what I'm saying. Some of them go deeper than others as far as like underneath the surface, or just kind of like in your face, like the sun. Never mind. Anyways, you guys know what I'm saying. If you find it in the kindness of your heart to give something towards this live stream, I think that there's like a money symbol or something in which you can do that, because I don't want to put stuff like this on Patreon, and I don't want to do this in like an e-course where you have to pay for it. I want this to be free, and I want this to be easy to just click and go back to years from now if you want to recap, or you remember something that I said that you wanted to revisit. I want to do it this way, and I want to have this interactive with you guys, but it takes up a lot of time, and I could do this in an e-course. So if you feel like you want to, or if you're watching the playback of this and you want to email me and find some other way that you can contribute to the services I'm providing, that would be so great. If not, I'm so glad that you've joined us, whether live or in the playback. Let's see what else I want to recap. Oh, if you have not watched part 1 or part 2, I highly recommend that you do that, especially part 1, because in the beginning I go over what your natal chart is. I go over the ethics and how I feel that we really need to be using astrology in an ethical way, in a mindful way, that this is not a joke. This is soulful stuff here on a karmic level, and it's can be fun, and it is fun, but it shouldn't be used as a toy or a plaything. We need to be careful how we talk to other people when discussing their signs, because people can take things personally or not understand it fully, and it's never in your best interest to tell somebody what to do or how to do it, or what they should or shouldn't be doing, or how they need to be acting, or who they are. You know, just be mindful of it. Keep it in a broad term, and just be mindful with any sort of divination or soul searching, self-awareness method. You know, work on you and provide information if needed, and then go from there. So let me see if there's anything else I want to recap. Remember that when we talk about the sun and the moon, we consider those planets in astrology. So if you're confused by that, I'm sorry. Again, I discussed that in part 1. Just because you haven't watched part 1 doesn't mean that you can't tune in today. I just will be saying some terms and relating to something that we might have discussed before that might be in your benefit to, at least after this, go watch again. Or you might want to go watch that and then watch the playback of this. We will be talking about the glyphs, which are the symbols associated with the signs, the zodiac signs, and the planets. Oh, my tattoo's out to play today. I think this is the first live stream. So I have the glyphs of my inner planets of my natal chart on my arm. These are not just all the zodiac. And I got this tattoo, and it's interesting to interact with people when I have this on my arm. I think that's it. Yeah, it's not a joke. Okay, we're good. We're good, right? Let's just get right into it. 10 minutes. This is good. I'm going to really try not to touch my hair, but it's super hot and sticky. Weird question. Wasn't the tattoo on the other arm? No. But maybe, or does the screen flip? What I think it is that when I record my regular videos on my camera, it shows one way, and because I'm live on my phone, it's flipped it the other way, or whatever, so you're seeing it. Or maybe like when you're watching my Instagram story, if you're wondering, it's on my left arm. So good question though. Okay. Deep breath. Let me take a sip. Oh, actually, one more thing before we begin. So I've discussed this in last part 2, sorry. But after we go through the 12 zodiac signs, I am going to continue to do this, but on a different day and time. And we're going to continue Witchy Book Club and start a new book, because I want this to continue for people who are interested and want to maybe that aren't interested in astrology, want to continue with Witchy Book Club, but for people who do want to continue to get further into the natal chart and deeper things about it and transits and everything, I will provide that, but in a different day, and we'll continue with our 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time live streams for Witchy Book Club and start a book after next week's. So we'll have today's, we'll have next week's, and then we're going to be starting a new book. I'm going to be talking about 2 books that I have up for option, so you guys let me know if you've read them or if you're interested in either of these. And I'm going to put up another book. So I got both of these in the mail from you guys, which is so sweet. I think you guys found like my wish list or something that's linked in my videos, and it's like my Amazon wish list. And I originally linked that down below so that you guys could see like the decks that I wanted and the books that I wanted. Not necessarily for me, but because I was getting question after question after question, like, what kind of decks do you want? Like, what are you interested in? And so it was really easy for me to just paste my link down there. But in return, you guys have found that you could purchase them for me, which like makes me want to cry every time I get something. And I received 2 of these books for, did you just buy this? Oh, Paper Bits, did you send me? Well, you sent me something, didn't you? You were one of the people that sent me something. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. You got me the Earth Magic deck, didn't you? Thank you so much. I think that was you, because it said your real name, and I was like, I think that's Paper Bits. Thank you so much. I am so excited. I'm going to do an unboxing video of it too. But anyways, these 2 books were sent to me off of my wish list. So there's Earth Magic by Stephen Farmer. It's Ancient Shamanic Wisdom for Healing Yourself, Others, and the Planet, which I thought might be really interesting for us. And then there is The Witch's Shield, Protection, Magic, and Psychic Self-Defense. These are 2 that I would really love to read with you guys, but I don't really know much about them further than that. So I'm mentioning them now so you can look into them, and maybe we can do a vote on Instagram. I'm so sorry. I want to say this before we get in. There was another book that I saw that somebody purchased for me on my Amazon wish list, and it was a mediumship book. And it doesn't tell me who purchased it, and I know that they purchased it like over a month ago, and I still have not received it. And so I just wanted to let you guys know, if you're watching the playback or if you're live and you're the person that so beautifully and gratefully, like graciously gifted me that book for my birthday, or just because, I'm so grateful, but I haven't received it. So if you could send me the tracking number and I could look into it, or maybe you might want to look and let me know if it like got back ordered or something, so that I don't stress about it, because if you put, you know, thought and money and time into trying to get me something nice, I really appreciate it, but I haven't received it. So I'm putting that out there because I have no idea who got it for me, so I don't know what to do. But that book also is another one I would put up for grabs if I can let you guys know. So anyways, look into these. We'll discuss it more next week, and we will pick a book. And if you were the person that purchased that really cool mediumship book off my Amazon wishlist, please let me know or email me or something, because I'm kind of stressed about it for you and for me. So, okay, thank you for letting me do that. I appreciate it. Let's get into it. We're going to be starting with Libra. So if you guys have your only astrology book you'll ever need, you're going to be turning to page 38. If you don't, please have a notebook and pen ready as well. Everybody should have a notebook and pen ready, because you know I cover so much stuff. You might say, oh, I'll remember it or whatever. Like, there's a lot. We cover a lot. The other thing is that I have Michaela, my boyfriend's daughter's notebook here as well. A couple months ago, I taught her Virgo Sammy, hey! You're so funny. I taught her what I'm teaching you guys like 2 months ago, and her notebook is color-coded. for what she thought, or I told her the signs would be, you know, associated for colors. I do recommend that you guys do this. She has expressed to me that this helped her learn a lot better with memorizing, because if she can remember what color she used for that sign, then she can recall the writing better. And I don't know if that's for everyone, but I did the same thing when my grandmother taught me. You know, if you can remember Libra's ruled by Venus, and it's pink and it's feminine and all this stuff, and you know, you can remember that it was written in pink, you might be able to recall things about it. That's my suggestion to you. Okay, so I cannot stop touching my hair, you guys. I'm really sorry. Just deal with it. It's so hot and sticky, and I don't know why I curled it and wanted to be fancy. Okay, page 38. We're going over Libra, and Libra is from September 23rd to October 22nd. It is masculine in its energy. It is ruled by the planet Venus, and I'm going to show you your glyphs for Venus and for Libra. So we're on this first line here, right? So this is the sign for, or the glyph for Libra. This like little bump in the road here. And then the planet that rules it is Venus. And now we have, and this is how you write Venus, and if you guys have been watching the other streams, you'll know that this is a duplicated planet. So there's 4 signs and 2 planets that are like doubled, right? So we already did both of Mercury's. Mercury is one of the planets that shares 2 signs, and it shares Gemini and Virgo. So we went over both of those already. And the other one is Venus, and we went over Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, and now we're going over Libra, which is Venus. Questionably Scorpio when we do that sign next, because before Pluto was discovered, or back in old astrology, Mars was also dominated by, Scorpio was also under the planet of Mars as well as Aries. I wasn't taught that way. I was taught that it was ruled by Pluto, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So technically there's 3 planets that are shared, but we're really only learning that 2 are. Venus is one of them. So you will see a little bit of the qualities kind of duplicated from Taurus, but Libra is a very different energy because instead of an earth sign, it is an air sign. So it's ruled by the element of air. Remember our pattern? We started again with, so it's fire, earth, air, water. And so now we're on air, and Scorpio will go water, and then we'll start again with fire, so on and so forth. So the quality is cardinal. We already did the ruling planet. The symbol that is for Libra is the scales. Some of you might already know this, but it's the scales. The dominant keywords are I balance, just like the scales. So, you know, we've recapped with like Aries is I am, Taurus is, you know, we go through all of that. I have, I think, I feel, anyways, I'm not going to try to recap that right now. My brain will like combust on me. But Libra is I balance. Parts of the body ruled by Libra is the lower back, the buttocks, the kidneys. Librans suffer from lower back strain and problems in the lumbar region, and they are subject to kidney infections. We'll go over that more in a minute, but I'm just getting this all out. The dangers for Libra are people tend to stir up ill feelings from others in situations having to do with love, because it's ruled by Venus, the planet of love, relationships, and beauty and art. Because they are indecisive and sometimes make a declaration of love too easily. Librans both anger and disappoint lovers. They also have a tendency to be fickle and faithless. That one I don't know if I connect with so much, but I'm just saying it. It's in the book, so that's okay. Everyone's taught different. So let me think. I think that's all of the kind of things that we go over in the beginning. So, also remember, we are now talking about the 6th house. So if we're looking at our natal chart, we start here with Aries and we go around, and now we've made our way 7th house, we're up in the 7th house here of Libra. So we're over, starting the other half. here. So the 7th house. So if you have any planets in your chart in the 7th house, it's going to take on these qualities, as well as if any of your planets are in the sign of Libra, it's going to take on those qualities as well. So Libra is the sign of one-on-one relationships. It is the justice system. And does that mean faithlessness as in spirituality or religion? I don't know what they mean there. I don't think so. I don't know. I guess because they just talked about relationships afterwards, but that doesn't really resonate with me with Libras. So I can't explain why. So maybe just forget that sentence because I don't know how they meant that, you know? They are the most charming sign. Well, in my opinion. I wasn't sure if it meant that or like cheating or something. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, the Justice Tarot card. So some of these really easily kind of carry over to tarot if you know the system of tarot. I'm going to assume that none of you know tarot, so I'm going to try not to reference it too much. So Libra is about fairness and equality and peace at any cost. It's the one-on-one relationships. It's about fairness, and it's about like doing what's right above all. They're extremely charming people because they just want everyone to get along. They want everything to be good and gravy, and like part of it can be associated with like the Bob Marley song, like One Love, like let's get together and feel all right. Like everything's like, yeah, like let's just all like, hey guys, like let's get along. I'm going to be referencing back to my boyfriend's sun quite a bit with this sign because he is a Libra and he has like 5 other planets in Libra. So he is really, really, really Libra to me. Hi April, how are you? So he's a really good example for me. Now they're all about love and relationships. They're the poets. They're the lawyers, or the judicial system. I have Libra for moon and ascendant in my chart. Said I'm a Scorpio sun, so today is my info day. Good girl, you listen up. And if you have so Libra is like, since it's all like let's get together, like let's all be friends, like let's all, you know, do our thing. They tend to be really like charming. People are automatically drawn to them just because they can sense that like they're really nice and that they, you know, are fair. I see people with Libra moons are like so easy to have friends. Most of the time, again, it depends on what else is in your chart. But just because they're so like, let's all get along, like they easily are attracting to people. The social work. Now, when I mean one-on-one relationships, it's like you and a friend, you and one friend, you and a partner, you and your mother, not like you and your family. It's those one-on-one interactions, you and your therapist, you and the person you get coffee from every single morning. So if we're talking about the 7th house, it rules one-on-one relationships, and it's talking about those interactions with those people. It can tend to fall a little bit more on like romantic or love relationships because this is Venus ruled, but it doesn't have to be. Libras are happiest in some sort of relationship, and I guess it doesn't really have to be romantic. Most of the time it is. Libras really are happiest with another person because they find themselves in their most genuine light, or they feel most themselves when interacting with one-on-one. Or if you have a friend, you might make friends easily or attract a lot of people, but you'd rather spend time with like one-on-one, you know, or you're going to be a totally different person one-on-one than you would be with a group of people. They're extremely artistic. They're the most easygoing. An example of this would be my boyfriend's son. I'm just going to say AJ. So AJ is the most easygoing person I have ever met in my whole life. He just wants to do what everybody else wants to do. He doesn't have an opinion because he just wants everybody else's opinion to be what he wants and what he does. And you could see where that might be in a benefit and might be a challenge for him. He has a very difficult time speaking up for what he wants or knowing what he wants because he doesn't make decisions. They're very indecisive, and when that's where that comes from. They're indecisive because they want all of the choices and they just want what's best for everybody else. So it makes, yeah, I like making decisions. A good example of this too would be like wanting to pacify or making it no inconvenience for other people. So AJ's a growing boy, like extremely fast growing boy right now. And we always talk about the instance in which he had shoes that he was walking around in that had holes, like his foot was sticking out of the bottom, and his dad and I didn't even know. And we finally realized, and we're like, why didn't you say something, bud? Like, just tell us. And he's like, oh, no, it's not a big deal. Like, or he'll wear a jacket that's like 3 times too small, and it's not that he's like lazy or that he doesn't want, it's like he doesn't want to inconvenience anybody else. He doesn't want to make himself seem like he's uncomfortable so that we have to help him. Like, he just doesn't want to do that. Or when I ask him, like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Like, it's, I don't know, but it's not that he doesn't know, it's that he doesn't want to make the decision. He wants everybody else to be happy, and he'll just suffer through it. So again, you can see where like the pros and cons might be of that. They're really easygoing, and you can like, they're just up for whatever you want. But at the same time, if they don't talk about their decisions, or in a relationship, it could probably be irritating if you're dating a Libra or you are a Libra because you can't make a decision. Or it's not that you can't, it's that you would rather not be the one to make the decision. Beauty. It's the sign of beauty. So is Taurus because it's ruled by Venus. But I find that Libras are like just the more like stereotypical beauty, like the beauty without trying. Like, oh, so annoying. If you got a Libra ascendant, chances are you have some sort of beauty mark or really long eyelashes or something about you that's just like really attractive physically for an ascendant. Or even if you're Libra, chances are you have like some sort of trait on you that is just naturally like really big lush lips. Venus, this might be kind of creepy, I'm going to call out Elise from Wild Moon Woman. If you guys have ever seen her and her like way about her, she is such Venus vibes, and she's very open about this, so I'm gonna tell. But she's a Gemini with a Taurus moon, so she's got Venus for her moon, and she's got a Libra ascendant, if I'm not mistaken. So she's Venus, and that woman is beautiful without trying. She's got big lush lips, these big like doe eyes, and she's just really, really gorgeous. Sorry if that's creepy, or Elise, if you're watching this, I love you. But yeah, no, she's a really good example of Libra ascendant, or like giving those Venus-y vibes to me. A lot of the celebrities that you see that are Libras or have Libra energy like in their ascendant, they will have beauty marks. Like, I'm not sure. Okay, so I did this last time. Don't come for me if this is not actually their sign or their correct thing, because I was like, Dolly Parton and her big hair is like a good example of like what the extreme version of a Leo ascendant would be. And you guys were coming for me saying like she's a Virgo ascendant. Like, this is just, it doesn't have to be right. It's what I've been taught is like the extreme, right? And she might have a billion planets in the 5th house of Leo. Remember, all of that matters. So anyways, don't come for me or go look up these celebrities to see if I'm right, but this is what I'm taught. So like Paula Abdul, like that, like very like doe-eyed, like beauty marks. Cindy Crawford with that. Anybody that has like symmetrical things, like people who really always like to have like middle part and like have things like very symmetrical. Or it could go the opposite way, because remember, this is balance, this is a scale, so it could go the opposite way. You might be born with something that makes you imbalanced, or like when you're looking at you, there's a clear like imbalance. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to describe that. I guess I'm trying to give you an example, but I don't really know what to do. Oh, Imogen Walters. I love her. She's one of my very, very best friends. And she just talked recently about how one of her eyes, like one of the eyelids, kind of doesn't open as wide as the other one does. And she is a Libra. So it's like a slight thing when you're looking, and she said she loves it because Paris Hilton has the same thing. Or so when you're, when she's looking, if sometimes like her eyelid doesn't open as well. So that would be like an example of that. And she's also gorgeous and beautiful. So the polarity applies to each areas like the moon, sign, and ascendant, etc. The polarities. What do you mean the polarities? Like where I'm just talking. This applies just in general. This is just in general Libra energy, but it's more, and it's going to show up more in a physical sense if you are talking about an ascendant, a moon, or your sun. Hey guys, I have that with my eyes, and I'm a Libra sun. Yay! Thank you for confirming that. Or something that hormonal imbalances, especially for women, but men as well. Hold on, you guys. I need to turn the phone, the ringer off of my phone. Okay, so if you struggled really, really bad with like acne or like hair loss or something that's going to be affected like hormonally, or sugar and sweets. So why I'm bringing this up is that Libra's all about balance. When there is an imbalance somewhere, either hormonally or dietary or emotionally, if you have a Libra ascendant, it is going to physically overexert itself in that way. So, for example, my brother has a Libra ascendant, and when he was a teenager, he had like the worst acne ever. Like the worst, when he was like going through puberty. Like his entire face was like covered in acne. And so that is a way that your body physically will kind of show proof that there's some sort of imbalance. And I'm sure from him going through puberty and stuff, that was most of it. But it will physically show you how it's imbalanced, and it's like those key signs and symbols so that you can figure out how to bring it back. Unfortunately, that's a downside. It's a beautiful sign and beauty marks and long lashes, but if you don't keep checked and you don't keep yourself balanced in certain aspects, it will show physically for you. I'm trying to think of what else here. I find that with women, it's more so showing up hormonally. And so, let's see, partnerships, likable, balance. Yeah, that's balance with anything. So emotions, if your moon is in Libra, it's extremely important for you to keep a check on your mental and emotional health. Because I feel as though if you don't check yourself or you don't check in with yourself, you might have an easier time having some sort of mental, I don't want to say illness, that's not correct, but challenge. So, because it's so like extreme, like one Libra here, the eye thing and the beauty mark applies to me. Childhood acne when I was a teenager, thankfully gone now. That's amazing. That's amazing because I think that your body has learned how to balance itself out. Libras, yeah. So sorry, I have like 3 different things I want to go to here. People pleaser tend to be chilled out. They tend to be really like chill. So Libra's going to be the sign that's going to be the one that's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, you want me to go with you? Oh, yeah, I do. They don't want to go anywhere. They like to spend that's not for everybody, but I like that example because it's a good example of like, that energy of wanting to always be with one other person at minimum. Not wanting to be alone by themselves, not wanting to be like, they really like long-term relationships. They really like, but we haven't really talked about the element. So the element of air, they are extremely good with their words and their thoughts. if used in the right sense. I see Libra as the poets, the musicians with writing, the song composers. They're extremely good with their words, but they can translate it in like an artistic sense. So spoken word poetry, like slam poetry, or beautiful love, like relationships and body poetry. Imogen Walters, she's writing a poetry book, and she's extremely talented with poetry. She's really accessing her Venus vibes, but she's extremely attracted to, which I think Elise does as well. She's really attracted to poetry, and I think that she writes as well. Sorry to call you out, ladies, but you're really good examples of it. Music, exactly. They're musicians, or they're very influenced by music. We talked about Taurus being the senses. Libra is very similar in that sense because it's ruled by the same planet. I'd say Taurus is much more with the senses of touch and taste, but Libra really does incorporate a lot with music because it's beautiful and it's words and it's a way to communicate in a loving, beautiful, passionate, artistic way. I just already feel like I'm missing so much of this sign. So let me think. I don't know how to explain this. My grandmother explained this to me, and I found this to be the tendency with Libras, which is confusing to me. So don't take offense to this, and also I just be aware that I don't know how to word it, but I have found just as much as Libras are like passive and like, you know, good for all, like don't want to inconvenience you, just want us all to get along. I have found that Libras can tend to be really gossipy because air, but also really quick to kind of like complain about somebody else if they're not around. And I don't mean that in a bad offense. I don't mean that. It's just kind of something that has never really like kind of clicked and put together with me because of all the traits and the things that I know about Libra. I see this more so in women, and I don't know if it's just our culture, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't really know how to explain that. I mean, this is something that isn't like by the books, but I guess just in my personal experience, what I've found with Libras, it's like they want all for good, but at the same time, like they need to get out their feelings and how they upset they were, so they'll wait. So where it's a good time to kind of like express or bitch, I guess. Again, if that's not by the book, that's just something that I've kind of picked up or noticed. But it's like if there's not an imbalance there, that's how it's gonna come out. So it's either like, so true, balance between being harmonious and being annoyed. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so it's like it's a balance, and for Libra, it's really, really important to have that balance or to be balanced, because if there's not, then it's like from one spectrum of like I want everyone to get along and I just want peace at any cost, and if it's imbalanced, it's like I might be the reason why there's not people getting along, and I might be the one that's causing the issue. Not all the time. Please don't take offense, you guys. It's just something that I've learned and that I've picked up on interacting, that I've gone like, wait, that doesn't make sense for that sign, or wait, that doesn't make sense for that. But I think it has to do with like if there's an imbalance at all, you can go from one extreme to the other kind of thing. Again, I want to bring up that it's the judicial, I can't say that word, judicial system, and anything about fairness and law and equality. They could tend to be really good in like a decision making, not a decision making, like a here's how we think that it would be fair for everybody. So like judges or in the court systems, because they're really good at taking a look at everybody's opinion and everybody's side and kind of making the best decision for it. Now, when we were talking about kidneys, leadership, cardinal, I love that you guys are helping me through this. It's my Gemini sun sometimes. Judge Judy. Yes. Yeah. She's got something else in her though that helps her like bite, because while I do see her as Libra, there's something else in there that helps her be like the coldness that I don't see in Libras. Yeah, so okay, let me see what else. God, I feel like I'm missing so much with this sign. Um, okay, so social workers, maybe Capricorn. That's what I was thinking, Capricorn, so that coldness, like sharp, like authoritative figure for Judge Judy. But we haven't gotten to Capricorn yet, so I don't want to confuse you guys. So, let me touch back for a second with what I was talking about with it being in your moon. If you have a moon in Libra, I'd highly suggest that you keep a really good daily check on how you feel, how your mood is emotionally and mentally. We wouldn't want you to slip too far down into an imbalanced. I could say that there would be like a tendency towards some sort of, mental imbalance that you might just, it's in your benefit to keep a check on it every day. There's apps in which a really, really fun one is Dailyo. Oh my God, that's what happens to me a lot. I'm working on that though. Christine, honestly, it's not uncommon. It makes sense. Wherever you have Libra, Libra's the sign of balance, you guys. But what I find is that wherever it's placed, instead of having balance and coming into this world with lots of balance, because that's what Libra is about, I tend to find and see that there's a natural imbalance and that you're always working on balancing it out and finding the ways in which to have or gain balance. And once you do, life is great. And you might have to play around and test a little bit on what works for you. But having the tools and the knowledge about, I've been using Oracle cards to try to be more positive. That's honestly amazing. For you guys, it's even more important to just be self-aware. Sammy, you mentioned before about about moon Librans needing a balanced diet. Yes, so I can touch on that as well. So I think everyone needs a balanced diet of healthy, fresh fruits and vegetables, but you do you, boo. But I think that some signs require balance more than others because it will really affect them. And when we're talking about the moon, we're talking about possible diet habits, tendencies towards food, as well as emotional stability. And for Libras, if you have a moon in Libra, I want you to take a look at your diet, honey child, because your diet and your food and your intake of food and how you view food is going to affect you emotionally a lot more than some of the other signs. And it's going to cause a lot of imbalances in your body and mental health. So if you are sugar head and your thing is like, I love chocolate, give me all the chocolate, I need chocolate all the time, that sugar imbalance is going to emotionally affect you and it's going to physically affect you. You're going to gain weight right in your butt region and you're going to affect your kidneys. So I find that also there's a few signs that are tending towards drugs and alcohol more than others. Like you're not going to find Virgo with wanting drugs and alcohol as like a overabundance of things. I've found that Libras can tend towards a dependency on pills. And why I find and why in my own mind why I see that is because a lot of the times they have these imbalances, whether physically, hormonally. They might be like, wow, I have really bad acne, like let me go to my dermatologist, let me go to my doctors, and then they're prescribed something and they can tend to go out of balance with it and abuse it. I'm having problems emotionally to balance things. I'm feeling like I can't get control. I'm like back and forth or whatever it is. So they go to their doctor or whatever and they're prescribed some sort of medication. And I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying everybody is different. Everybody needs whatever they need. But I've seen that it can be easily abused in the Libra energy because of the fact that it's something that's brought up more for them and they become unbalanced with it. We talked about like Pisces. Well, we didn't talk about Pisces, but Pisces and Sag, what we'll get to today, are some of the signs that can easily abuse like alcohol or drugs, other harder drugs. I see Libras tending more towards alcohol and pills. So you guys really need to be careful. I'm not saying don't take the medicine that you're on. If you're prescribed it, it's probably for a good reason, but keep yourself in check with it. Or if it's something you're supposed to be taking on the daily, take it on the daily. Like make sure that you're aware of what you're doing. I have both signs, Sag and Pisces. Oh, fuck. No, please don't get scared. It's just something that I want to bring up because it is something that comes up a lot, or did come up when I was reading natal charts, or when I'm tending to interact with these signs. I have found that it's easier or more tendency, and that's what I'm explaining. And I think because of the whole balance thing, or even I've seen it with my brother. So like when he was younger, like I said, with his acne, it was so extreme and so bad that they put him on, you know, like all these different face creams and different things that were, you know, using alcohol and using steroids and all of these things to try to combat it. And when you go from one to extreme to the other to try to balance it out, sometimes there's issues. So if you're having some problems emotionally or physically or hormonally or whatever, and you have Libra energy, take a look into that. Your consistency with it, how balanced you are in other areas of your life, because that's really going to affect you more so than a lot of the other signs. I think we can move on from that now. Please do not take that wrong. Please do not take it hard. You know, obviously seek medical profession, but it's more so like if you are on medication or something to help you balance either emotional or physical or, you know, mental issues, that you might have, that you've struggled with, make sure that you're consistent with it. Make sure that you're not imbalanced with the way in which you might be abusing it or something like that. So if that takes too hard, hits too hard for home, or that was a trigger for somebody, I'm sorry, but that's what I found. I think we're almost ready to move on. Does anybody have any questions? I still feel like I'm missing a ton from Libra, but I was always taught, and again, please don't take offense to this, but I was always taught starting with Aries or the first house, moving our way around, the signs become a little bit harder to describe. They become a little bit more evolved and deep and out of worldly. So the first 4 signs and the first 4 elements are very true and easy to describe because they're very big and raw energy with it. And as you move your way around, it becomes a little bit more complicated and there's more things that factor into it. That's what I've been taught by my grandmother. Gosh, I can't stop touching my hair. I'm really sorry, you guys. This has helped me understand a lot. I thought some of those things were from Scorpio, like the emotional stuff. So this is interesting. Well, we'll get onto that next, Christine, but I'm really glad that you are finding some benefit in what I'm saying. Please, can you talk about relationships between Libra and Virgo? I'm not going to talk about that, only because there's so much to factor in, as you know, like there's so many things that influence. What I will say about it is that I've had a couple people recently in my life that has said things like, I don't like Scorpio women, or I won't date a Gemini male, or I won't this or that with this particular sign, or I don't get along with this sign. I would urge you to try and reshape your thought around that, because as you can see, there's polarities to every sign and energy, and there's so much more than just your sun sign. We have many signs, exactly. We have many signs and many things that factor in. So if we're talking about the relationship between a Virgo and a Libra, there's unless I'm looking at 2 charts right next to each other, there's going to be so many factors to take in. What I will tell you is that just yourself, we've already gone over Virgo. So think about the ways in which the ritual of Virgo, the detail-oriented thing of Virgo. Virgos can tend to be kind of like tight energy, very ritual, very here's the plan, here's the schedule, let's stick to this, here's how we do it, this is where the flaw is. And Libras are kind of chill and relax and kind of like, let's all get along, let's hang out, let's here's the other drug. This sign is the biggest for pot, for marijuana, because of the fact that it is a chill drug. It makes like, let's get together and feel all right. Like, let's all just kind of hang out, smoke, like, let's do this. Not to say that you have to be like a pothead or anything, but if you can see where I'm referencing this together, I can't believe I forgot about that. That's so important. I have to stop going back on my word. I'm so hot and sweaty, you guys. But yeah, it's like the Bob Marley, like, let's get together and just chill. Let's just hang out. Let's all have a good time. You know what I mean? Like, definitely a tendency towards smoking pot. Um, don't do drugs, kids. But I'm just saying, I found that in my coming around people in life, or what the general energies come. So if anybody has any other questions, Christine, come on, I know you know what I'm talking about. No. If anybody has any other questions about the 7th house, about Libra or Venus, let me know now. If not, we will move on. Oh my gosh, we're already 50 minutes in. Y'all, I better hurry up. Anybody questions? Questions, anybody? I kind of figured that this live stream might go a little longer just because we skipped last week. So I'm going to do my best here. No questions? Scorpio! Let's move on, you guys. Let's move on. So we're going to now talk about Scorpio. Scorpio, you're going to want to turn to page 43 in your books. Ew, my lap is so sweaty, and the back of this book that I was resting on my lap is so sweaty. It's so hot in this room. Yuck. Okay, sorry. Whew. Maybe I should drink some water now instead of this cold coffee. Okay, so Scorpio is from October 23rd to November 21st. It is a feminine energy. We're now completing our 2nd cycle of the elements. We're talking about water. The quadruplicity, or the quality, is fixed. The planet that's ruled by it is Pluto. I will show you guys the glyphs in a second. The dominant keywords is I desire. Ooh, be still my heart. Scorpio. Just so you know, I'm dating a Scorpio, so. So the parts of the body that's ruled by Scorpio is the genitals. The Scorpio people are susceptible to infections of the urinary system and venereal disease. In addition, their volatile emotions often cause exhaustion and ill health. Yeah, I see those laughing emojis, you guys. Ooh, be still my heart. When I first started learning astrology, I didn't really have a lot of Scorpio energy around me. And it was one of those signs where I was like, I don't get along, or I don't really understand, or I don't really like that energy. But now that I'm dating one and I understand it more, like, hey. Anyway, sorry. Tone it down a bit, you guys. So, let's see, what else do we talk about? It's a scorpion. The symbol is a scorpion, and we will make the links and direct, commonalities between like a scorpion and Scorpio energy. Like Cancer and the crab, or Leo and the lion, there's really great connections between those animals and how they tend to interact. So I will be talking about that in a little bit. The danger for Scorpio people is to evoke anger in others by their secretiveness and jealousy. That's really, I think that's really valid. Their sharp, stinging tempers can also enrage others to the point of violence. Yeah, I would say that's pretty spot on. I desire, though. So the key word really for Scorpio is intense for me. Intense. So while you might be a Scorpio and think like, I'm not intense, you don't even have to think you're intense, but people think, or you can come off to people kind of intense. Either like emotionally or even physically, your energy, there's a deepness to your energy and a mysterious kind of closed door that you know is able to open. Like, it's not like totally closed door like Capricorn. We haven't gotten there yet, so that might be confusing to you. But Scorpio, it's like when you meet them, or when I sense them, it's more so like there's things that you have locked inside that if I am lucky enough, I can learn about. So Scorpio energy is imaginative because it's a water sign, so they're very intuitive, they're emotional, they're creative, sensitive, like really sensitive. They can be really subtle, but intense. So it's like subtle, but like an intense subtlety. Persistent. Ooh, my gosh, my boyfriend was so persistent. Oh my goodness. And subtle. Like he would make jabs and like make like these comments underlying like randomly when we were friends. Like he would just be like, he would say something like in the midst of a conversation and I would pick up on it like, whoa, wait, what did you mean by that? Hey, what did you mean by that? They're very passionate. It's the house, we're talking about the 8th house, so now we're up here for the 8th house. You can see that I have my moon and my Venus in the 8th house of Scorpio. So hey girl, hey. It's the house and the sign of life, death, transformation, other people's monies or resources, transformation. I'm trying to think if you guys are associating it to the tarot card, you could associate it to the actual death card. That's why you're so mysterious. I don't think that I'm mysterious. Cause I got a Gemini, so I'm a sun, so I'm just like, hey, I'll tell you everything you want to hear, even if you don't want to hear it. But that's the thing about Scorpio energy. So my moon is in the 8th house of Scorpio, so it's as if you could read it as my moon is in Scorpio as well as in Taurus. That seemed like a lot to say, so maybe I just lost you guys. But the thing about Scorpios is when you first meet them, they might not necessarily be like reserved or closed off, although they can tend to mostly be that. But if you meet them and you're like, wow, you're so nice, I can get along with you, like they tend to know how to manipulate the situation into what they need it to be, or they're really good at finding out all of your information and telling you only what they want to tell you and just enough to where you're pacified. But they're really not going to share anything extremely deep and personal or even just general about them that they don't want to share unless they really trust or know you. They can tend to be very like, and I think that that's a good trait if used correctly, because George really balances me out. He has to check me a lot of the times. Like, they don't need to know all of that. You don't need to tell them that. Like, keep some things to yourself, or like, you know, you just met this person, you don't need to be telling them all of these things and these secrets about you. Like, some things you can say for yourself. And I feel like he balances that out for me, although I can tend to see him holding back too much instead of expressing it. And so, like I said, with all of these, there's pros and cons. It depends on how you're using it and what situation we're talking about. But if you're confused about what I mean by like Scorpios holding back or being secretive, or like, and you haven't had that interaction with Scorpios, take a look back at like what they're actually sharing and what they're actually saying. Is it something that's on a deeper, more personal level? My mom tells people too much and I'm like, oh my God, stop. Yeah, so they do have a problem with other people oversharing. Secrets. Let's just say it. Are Scorpio nosy? They always ask me questions. I'm a Virgo moon. Yeah, because they want to know all of the information so that they can use it how they want to. And I am describing this and it's going to come across as like negative, or that these are like, this is a bad sign, or that this is a difficult energy. Remember, I am dating a Scorpio. So I love this energy, and don't take offense to this. They are the detectives. They are the spies. They are like, it's the sign of like, it's the sign of like serial killers, or like anything that has to be like the CIA, or like anything that's like the crime scene investigators, the people who work on morgues. They're extremely interested in the occult, in life and death, careers or jobs that are going to bring them into anything that has to do with secret information or secretive or something that is going to have the veil in between life and death. So murder mysteries. If you have like a Scorpio mixed with Aries, that's an interesting energy. No, my boyfriend has an Aries moon. I just know, like, you can just, it's very different than like Cancer, Pisces, Leo. Then, you know, they're just, to me, Scorpio is a very intense and kind of extreme energy that I can pick up on right away. Taxes, other people's money, other people's finances. So to me, Scorpio is another one of the financial signs, but it has to do, so we talked about Taurus, so that's material possessions, and then Cancer is finances as well, but no, Cancer is one of the signs of possessions, but for nostalgic reasons, remember. Then we talk about Leo. It is another money sign. It's more so about going out and doing activities and having fun, or like designer, or like having things that have prestigious value to you, or that's gonna spark a conversation. Scorpio is other people's monies and finances, so a lot of the times that they can be passed on inheritances from other family members. They can be trust fund babies. They could deal heavily with death situations, or they can be very fascinated by it. Just handling other people's monies, they're really good at, or they might just like naturally find themselves in some sort of situation where they would have to do that. Power of persuasion. Man, oh man, I wish I had a trust fund baby thing. I wish that for my boyfriend as well. No, I mean, or another thing is, like, you might naturally attract a partner to you that is going to be able to help you financially, or, you know, you'll end up helping them finance themselves, or, you know, you're whatever. It's just the sign of other people. So they could be doing taxes. They could be financial, like helpers. I don't know what the name for that is, but, anything that's going to deal with other people's money. So, you connect the dots there as you need to. Man, they're good. Like, they're really good at persuading. They're really good at, because what they do is they're like sharing about themselves. And I think it has to do with like the emotional sense of needing to protect yourself, or wanting to make sure that like, that you feel really comfortable. Here's the thing about Scorpios. It might come off like I'm saying a lot of negative things, but when they let you in, when you do open that door, when you are kind of taken in as somebody that they trust and that they want in their lives, they're the most open and passionate and loving and like intense, like just intense relationship. And it is so beautiful, but you might have to really work for that, their love. And they good in bed, my experience. I mean, I ain't gonna brag about my boyfriend, but I will tell you that I will. It's like, it's an emotional sign. So a lot of the times, instead of like, so Aries is like sex. Like it's one of the signs of sex, but it's like in a physical sense. And not that they can't like connect emotionally. Again, there's so much more to their energy. But with Scorpio, it's like, I am passionate. Like, I want your soul. I want to connect with you on a deep level. Like, if they're going to give themselves to somebody, like it's not just going to be like a sex type thing. Like, it's like very intense and passionate, and it's a connecting soul transformative experience. I really hope his daughter is not going to watch this playback, but you know, it's fine. Michaela, sorry. I think as you live and you learn, you control the negative aspects better. You know what will run off people as you get older and control it better, like jealousy. That's another thing we'll talk about. My 11-year-old Scorpio is really good at saving his money for things he wants and talking his brother into buying stuff for him. Yeah, they just know how to get what they want. And they're really good at getting information out of people. They're really good investigators. They're they're really good at making you feel like they're sharing just as much as you are, when in reality they're not. And not to say that they're lying, they're just only sharing what they need to, or in the way that they need to get the information that you need. And then here's the thing about George, or Scorpio in general. My Scorpio sis fools me and gets me to buy her stuff. Doesn't surprise me. So Scorpio, think about the scorpion. They kind of do this dance, right? What was that? That was weird. They kind of do this dance where they're like scuttling back and forth, and they're flicking up their tail. They're warning you. They're warning you, like, ooh, sense my energy. I'm dangerous. I'm volatile. Don't piss me off. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Then they need to get you. They need to get you. And that scorpion tail stings, and it's one hit to kill. So this has been a struggle sometimes with Scorpio energy for me, but also it's really nice because, again, we talked about my energy, so you know I'm really slow to get mad. I'm really slow to say things. Like, I tend to not want to express my anger or what upsets me, and I can hold on to things. Scorpio is going to know, because they've gathered all the information that they need, tend to be able to communicate with a one-hit sentence, leaving you feeling shattered. They know exactly what to say and when to say it, to just end the argument or end the conversation, or to make you know how they feel and what they think. And George does this to me all the time, and it's very difficult. But it's just the way that he goes about it and he communicates. He'll say these one-liners, like we'll be talking about something, and then all of a sudden it's like, bam, this one sentence that I know that he's using in a particular way, or saying things in a particular way, and I am just like, oh, wait, no. And normally it's true. But just, I can't really give you a specific situation, and I don't want to shed a negative light on my boyfriend, but I will let you know that my grandma has her Mercury, how you communicate and how you think, in Scorpio. So she also has this quality where when she's communicating, if she wants to hurt somebody, or she wants to make them know what she needs or whatever, it's like, oh, we're talking, that one sting of the Scorpio tail, and it's like, there it is on the table, conversation over. And it's like, you're right, but like, also, did you have to word it like that? Because it was like really harsh, you know? But at the same time, think about the balance of that. Think about where a Libra might tend to need some Scorpio energy to like say what they need, say what they want. Again, please don't take offense. It's like, however you're using it, it could be in a good or a negative light. But like, think about that in like a lawyer, or like a crime investigator, or like those detective shows. I don't tend to do the fatal verbal jab. Do you think it's from the Libra moon? Yeah, probably. I mean, everyone's different, and again, it's how you tend to use it, or all the other influences. But it's more so for me to associate. I think it, but I don't say it. Okay, all right. It's more so to give you like the association between the Scorpion and how that they use things. Another thing is, well, just think about like in a crime show investigator or anything like that, like the cop's sitting down, he's getting the information, he's pulling things on the table. Here's the facts, here's this, here's that. Well, where were you? Well, what did you do? Oh, well, we're just talking, everything's fine. And then bam, there's that line in the show, and it's like, there it is. Like, they wait for the opportune moment to get it, and then it's like, oh, the person's confessing or whatever, like he proved it or whatever. Like, that's kind of the energy. It's a good example of how the energy can come across. Remember when we talked about the genitals, and while they're really great lovers, and a lot of the other signs are, if you're not a Scorpio, it doesn't mean you're a good lover, but because of that intensity and that soul connection, they can tend to have difficulties in those areas. Either, for males, it could be erectile dysfunction or quick to go, or something around those areas. If there's an imbalance, again, it doesn't have to mean that every Scorpio male is going to have something like that, or the same with women. You might have really intense sexual experiences, or you might have a difficult time doing your thing if you're not emotionally connected to your partner. It really is ruled a lot by sexual experience and that soul connecting of your partner. But they need to watch out really for anything that's in the genital region or the reproductive systems. Sexual diseases, they have to be really, really careful of who they let in their bed and how they're being protective. I'll leave that at that for all of you who are maybe a little bit more PG and watching this. We've already kind of gone there with Scorpio, so sorry, but they're extremely intuitive. They're extremely artistic and sensitive because they're a water sign. I feel like they do a really good job at like hiding that about them. So if we're talking about an ascendant, this is one of my favorite parts to talk about with an ascendant, which is how you physically look or how you come off to people. Either there's something about your energy that's just naturally intense, like I said, or you could tend towards wearing all black. Now, I think a lot of us wear all black because it's like the most flattering color. It hides everything. But there's something different with the color association of death, and that like mysterious color. So like blacks or dark grays this is like the sign of the goth. So if you were a child and you had tendencies towards like punk and gothic music or wear, you might have a Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio energy in one of the other main areas, or you might have a ton of houses in Scorpio, in the 8th house of Scorpio. My face is itchy. But it is anything that, so like skulls and crossbones and anything the occult. So you might look really witchy, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like the stereotypical, or you might be really into like heavy rock or like grunge or like death metal or anything that's gonna be, and you don't have to be, again, these are just like extreme versions. So like a ton of piercings, tattoos, and dark, like maybe like mohawks or like jet, like if you want to dye your hair like jet black, yeah, that would be kind of like an extreme version of like a Scorpio ascendant or Scorpio energy. I'm trying to think of somebody that I could relate that to. I feel like Ozzy Osbourne is like kind of a good example of like Scorpio with like biting the head off of like the pigeon or the bat, and like how he was like all like death and like black, and again, don't be going and checking their charts and being like they're a Leo, and it's just like to give you an example. Sometimes I wish I did say what I want to, because a lot of the times the one getting fatally verbally stabbed, that probably has to do a little bit more with your Libra moon, Christine. So look into what I said about Libra and Libra moons, and try to balance that out a little bit. But yeah, it's a good thing to bring up, definitely. I desire, like, Scorpios know what they want, they know how to get it, and they're extremely persistent. I was dating somebody else when I met my current boyfriend, George. And we were all really good friends for a year beforehand, and even him and my ex-boyfriend were good friends. We all traveled out of state together. We all played disc golf together. We were a really good group of friends. But it came to a point where I knew that he was interested in me, and he was very persistent. And like some of the things that he would say, I'd have to check him on. I'd have to be like, you can't say that. Like, that is not okay. Like, we're friends. Like, And while I felt the same, I'm very loyal and it wasn't a right situation. But then when the relationship did end, it kind of like was like, okay, like I clearly have feelings for you, but they know how to get what they want and they will get it if they want. What a situation. I know. And there's no hurt feelings with my ex-boyfriend or anything like that. Like we've seen him before, and so if there's some weird circumstance in which he's watching, I think that he's very aware of the situation. And we ended things for different reasons. So it's not like it was George. But that persistence is definitely apparent within how him and I, got together. Yeah, so that's what I'll leave it at that. They know what they want and they get it. They know how to get it. So let's see. I think that might be Scorpio was when I first started learning one of my least favorite signs, and I think it was only just because I didn't understand the energy. And now again, I'm dating a Scorpio, but I just find so many of these traits a little bit more easily explainable because of the fact that I see them on a day-to-day, on a one-to-one basis. And I'm reaping all of the benefits of the Scorpio energy, you guys. Really, I am. Any other questions? Any other thing that you guys would like me to cover about Scorpio? We're already an hour and 15 minutes into this live stream. I feel like all of these signs I could go on and on and on and on and on about, but I just have to limit myself. I have to know, like, you know what I mean? Scorpio can read Virgo, but Virgo find it very difficult to read Scorpio until you get to know them. I think that's true for any of the signs trying to read Scorpio, but I think that Virgos get more frustrated than any of the other signs to try and read Scorpios because that's their tendency. Remember, their keywords are I analyze. So it's in their nature to break things down and to kind of get the information and try to get, a grasp on these people. And I feel like they have a little bit more frustration with Scorpio because of the fact that Scorpios are only giving them surfacey stuff until that they really want to let them in. I didn't really cover the jealousy aspect of Scorpio. There's really not much to say about it other than like they want what they want, and when they can't get it right away, they'll be persistent about it, but they can really hold grudges. And here's the thing, remember we talked about Scorpios not really letting you truly in right away until they want to? When they do let you in, it is a gift of the grace of God. And no, it is a gift, and they are really granting you a space inside them. They're really not only just letting you into their space emotionally and mentally, they're letting you into their soul. They're letting you into a completely deep level of themselves. And when you hurt and burn them, they will never forgive you. Ever. They will never forgive you because they've worked and they trusted you, and they worked in there, and that's why they can hold grudges. That's why they can tend to be very jealous. It's not just like because they're just like, oh, I'm jealous and whatever. It's like because you have to really work to be a part of their lives and part of their soul, and when you abuse that, you gotta be really careful with everybody in general, but with a Scorpio, like, they will never forgive you because they trusted you enough to let you in. They're really quick to cut people out. Like, they do not mess around. Like, if you don't jive well with them, or they don't trust you, or they don't want to share things with you, they just won't even give you the time of day. So, good luck, Sammy. Do you have to go or something? Scorpio energy seems to be similar to the energy of the Morrigan or the Phantom of the Opera or Celtic lore. Yes, anything that has to do with intense, dark, mysterious, transformative. Phantom of the Opera is a really Scorpio musical to me. The Morrigan, extremely, Scorpio for sure. It's just a really cool energy. I think it's really, really cool. But intense for sure. All right, we're gonna move on now, you guys. I think I've covered everything. I'm trying to kind of think about anything else I might have missed. But if I do, maybe we'll go back to it, or you guys can remind me. I'm gonna take a sip of water here. It is so hot. I can't stop touching my hair. I'm really sorry, but it's like sticking to me. Okay. Okay. Excuse me. We're going to move on now to Sagittarius on page 48 of the only astrology book you'll ever need. I hope those of you who purchased this book are finding some use and some enjoyment out of it. There is so much else in here that I would like to cover in other live streams when we're done with the Witchy book club portion of going through the 12 signs and houses. We'll get deeper into that, and there's other pages in here, but I just hope that you have enjoyed this, and I'm really glad that you have this in your possession if you have bought it, because it's a great thing to reference back to. It is like the textbook of astrology, and it really covers so many things that other astrology books don't cover. It really is like the only astrology book you'll ever need, which is not true because it doesn't cover some of this stuff, but I feel like it gives you a really good basis on everything you need to know. So Sagittarius. Sagittarius is from, ooh, I just got, my heart just fluttered a little bit. Yay, I'm Sagittarius. I'm loving this book and the Witchy book club. Yay! I know the response I'm seeing back is so great, and I'm so grateful for you guys. And that this is something that I've like felt like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, like interacting with you guys. I just love this so much. My son and my mom are Sagittarius. Yeah, so let's get into it. I have a shitload of Sagittariuses in my life. So I have a lot of people to kind of give you like personal like relations to. My mom's a Sagittarius, my grandma's a Sagittarius. Both of my sister and my stepsister are Sagittariuses, my cousin, my great aunt. Yeah, so I have a lot of Sagittarius. They both have what seem like Scorpio stingers, more dangerous than mine. Interesting. Paper Bit says she's a Sagittarius. So, okay, great. Well, we got a lot of Sagittarius, which doesn't surprise me with being interested in this kind of topics. So, yeah, I have a ton of Sagittarius in my life, and as you know, I was taught my spiritual and astrology and my ways by my grandmother, who's a Sag. So, I'm a Sun in Sag. So also for you guys to know, my sun is in the 9th house of Sagittarius. So whoa, for me, Gemini sun in the 9th house of Sag, I do tend to take on a lot of Sagittarius qualities that I tend to forget about, and I don't really mention a lot when talking about my energies. But it's actually a huge part of my chart. Remember, wherever your planets are in each houses, that is going to affect you as well. So that's what I'm saying. My sun is in the 9th house, which is associated to Sagittarius, and it is in Gemini. So I do take on a lot of Sagittarius qualities. Anyways, the duality is masculine. The element is fire, so we're starting again for our cycle through the elements, like we said: fire, earth, air, water. Aries, fire; Taurus, earth; Gemini, air; Cancer, water. And we started again going through, and now we're back to fire again. I'm sorry I came to the party late. What book are you referring to, please? Debbie Do. We are talking all through the only astrology book you'll ever need. If you do not have this book, it is okay. Just take notes or listen the best that you can. But if you do want to purchase this book, I highly recommend it if you're trying to learn astrology, or even if you know astrology and you want some deeper insight to things. It's really a great book. But that's the book that we're looking after, and we're just starting the sign of Sagittarius. The quality is mutable. The ruling planet is Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, growth, opportunity, far distance travels. It's a very expansive, broadening, wide spread energy, okay? And we will talk next week about its almost opposition of Saturn, which is like coming back, pulling the brake, being an adult, all that. But just know, Virgo, Jupiter is expansive. It is opportunity. It is growth, which we'll talk about the pros and the cons of this energy. So Sagittarius is very energetic. It's a fire energy, so it's passionate, it is energetic, it is physical, it is intense in a different way of Scorpio, but like their energy is very like bright like the sun, like energy. They're ambitious. They're extremely generous. They're freedom loving. Don't hold me down. I want my freedom. They're a seeker of challenge, open to new ideas and exploration. They really love learning and teaching. So Gemini and Sag are oppositions, and I've always been taught that Sag is more so the teacher role and Gemini is more of the student role. So you can see where my sun in Gemini in the 9th house of Sag, like I'm all about learning and teaching and growing and school and studies and like all about it. Okay, so the glyph, did we go over the glyph? We didn't go over the glyph for Scorpio. I'm so sorry, you guys. Go back. We're going to go over Scorpio for a second and recap, and then we're going to go to Sag. So this is the sign or the glyph of Scorpio. It is an M with a little, like, scorpion flick tail, okay? So this is how you write the glyph for Scorpio. Now there's 2 ways that I have seen to write the planet or the glyph for the planet Pluto. In this book, they use this, which looks like a P and an L attached. This is the sign for Pluto or the glyph. In natal charts, most of the time it is written like this. This is how I most commonly have been taught, or that I see it being written. So just know that both of these mean the glyphs for Pluto. But this is, I think, I don't know the guy's name, but the person that discovered Pluto, that's why this symbol, you can read it, it's in the book. I can't remember the exact story on it. Okay, sorry about that. Write it in your notes for Scorpio, or just remember it, or whatever you gotta do. Sorry, I forgot about that. Now we're gonna be talking about Sagittarius. So this is the glyph for the planet Saturn. I don't really know how to describe to you what this is. You can just look at it. Is it the appropriate way round, mirrored on cam? For me, right now, as I'm looking at it, it's backwards, but I think for you guys, or when it goes playback, if you're watching the playback, I think it is right side up. I don't know. But this is, you can just look it up on Google to make sure that it's the right way. I'm sorry. It is backwards. Okay, so if this looks like a P and an L to you, then it's right ways. If it looks like a backwards P and an L, then you're looking at it in reverse. Okay, does that make sense? And that's for all of these signs. So I'm sorry, you'll have to like double check or look it up on Google. Just put in like glyph for Saturn and just make sure that it's right. Or if you have the book, it is in the book somewhere. This is the glyph for Sagittarius. I feel really bad that I didn't mention that in the other parts of these live streams, that these are backwards, but I'm sure y'all will figure it out at some point. So this is like an arrow, and we'll talk about why that's associated with the arrow, but that is the glyph for the sign of Sagittarius. So Saturn, Sagittarius, we recapped Scorpio. Good to go. I am sweating so bad. Okay, I need to hurry this up because it's already an hour and a half, and I really want to get, Scorpio's big here. It's backwards. The books have been backwards too. The books have been backwards too. I don't know what you're saying, but okay, thank you. Yeah, sorry, you guys will just have to go on and look at the right way then. But, so Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, which is expansive. The dominant words is I see. Now, if you remember from part 1, when we went over Gemini, we talked about long distance travels, long distance relationships, communications, being far-sighted and nearsighted. So Geminis and Sagittarius, the opposition, are all about seeing things. And while Geminis tend to see things that are more closely related to them or in closer vision and have a hard time seeing the big picture or seeing far away from them, Sag is the opposite. So Sag really has a better time seeing the overall blanket, big situation, or the general overcast of an energy of a room, or they're much better at seeing like the main theme or the goal, but they have a little bit harder time with the details or sticking with like the description of like, you know what I'm saying. They're more easy to see far than they would to be seeing near, but they do like to discover and to learn and to teach things. So I see as the common keywords, dominant keywords. The parts of the body ruled by Sagittarius is the liver, the hips, and the thighs. Really important. We'll go back to that. Sagittarian natives need a lot of outdoor exercise in order to keep healthy. They have a sensitive liver and are susceptible to overuse of alcohol and hepatitis. Totally agree, but not so for sure detail-oriented, more big picture. I've got liver issues. Paper bits, I'm not saying that they are good at fine detail. I'm saying that they're more easy to see, like, the overall big picture. An example of this on a little bit more of a practical way is that you're not really going to find too many Sages that are going to follow a recipe book. They're going to be like, here's what I need to make, here's the general gist, here's the ingredients, like blah, 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 blah. Fine, I'm going to make it this way and it'll be fine. Or we'll work it out. Or like, oh, a cup of this, I don't really have a cup, so I'm just, that's about a cup. You know, it's more so about, like, the overall, like, they know what they need to do, the big picture thinking. Yeah, exactly. So true. Liver sensitivity and need for outdoor exercise. Yeah, I'll get into that, guys. I'll get into it for sure. But that's a really good example of, like, my grandmother is a really great cook, and she experiments with things, and she just kind of throws some in here and does some of this. Like, here's what I want to make. Here's how I know I could probably make it, and I'm just going to do this, this, and this, and this, and then all of a sudden she's got this wonderful recipe, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is so good, how did you make it? She's like, I don't know. I can't duplicate it because I didn't write anything down, or I'm not really sure the measurements in which I use, because I knew what I wanted to make, and I made it, and it's fine, and it's good the way I made it. So that's like a more practical way of explaining or giving you an example of what I mean by that. Whereas if it was a Virgo, they're like, here's what I'm making, but what's important is to the 10th degree of the measurements, I have to wipe it off, and it won't come out right unless it's perfect, you know? Anyways, so the danger is that Sagittarian people are subject to accidents of fire, explosions. Excuse me, especially while traveling, because it's a fire sign and it's long distance travels. They're all about travel, and a lot of the times to, like, foreign countries or, like, way across country. Their strong desire for freedom may also incite jealousy and possessiveness on the part of a lover. Yeah, they just really don't like being tied down to things. Again, unless it depends on how you're interacting with your chart. If you have, like, 5 other Earth planets in your chart or whatever, like, it could really ground you and make you more long-term and fixed and whatever. But we're talking about this energy as, like, an overall general gist of things. Yes, that's why I broke up with my ex. They just don't like, they love their freedom. They love to explore and go and learn and do new things and be adventurous and be spontaneous. It's that fire energy, you guys. It's, like, all over the place. So Sagittarius, if you are a Sagittarius, or you have Sagittarius moon or ascendant, or if your Mercury is in Sagittarius or whatever, you have a tendency to study abroad. If you're somebody that went literally abroad to study in school, chances are you have Sagittarius or Saturn, the ruling planet, in a very particular combination in your chart or specific location, because it rules learning and teaching and long distance travels. It is the sign of, like, foreign language. So if your Mercury's in Sagittarius, or you have a bunch of signs in Sagittarius, chances are you're bilingual, trilingual, or that you have an interest in language or sign language or accents or something that has to do with the way that you, like, you know, foreign languages. Yes, I moved from UK to Japan in September. I speak 3 languages. This is why I'm doing this, because it's so nice for you guys to comment back and forth and tell me when I'm hitting the right things, but also for other people listening, to be like, yes, this is how this goes, you know? An example of this, also long distance travel thing, is that my mother is, like, such a Sagittarius. She doesn't like to be held down, although she's really into long-term relationships and she's very loyal. She also likes her freedom. She doesn't want to be bogged down and held down. She does not like authoritative figures. she wants to be in charge, and she wants to know and go and do as she pleases. My mom grew up in Colorado, and when she met my dad, she moved cross country to Michigan. But all of her relatives and family were all cross country in all these different other states. And she raised my brother and I in Michigan, and then as soon as she could, her and my stepdad moved back across country to Oregon. Like, that's just a very typical Sagittarius at least want. Whether you actually go about it or you do it, that's different. But the want and need, that feeling of like, I just want to break free. I don't want to live here. I don't want to be bogged down in the situation and the place that I was raised in. Like, that want and need to go and to travel and to do and to explore other places is totally Sagittarius. Okay, you guys are saying a lot and I'm talking, sorry. I manage an international department. All my employees are from different countries and I love it. Didn't you say you're Sagittarius? Or Moon and Sag or something? Sorry, my hand's on the camera, but I have to see the comments. Bunny Kisses said, I have more of my ascendant traits of Sag than my sun sign, Gemini. We will get on how ascendant is affected by Sagittarius sign. My family lives in England. I live alone in Japan. Totally stereotypical energy of Sagittarius. I am married, but my hubby is a Sag, and we both talked about how we are good doing things alone or separate. We are not clingy. Yes, I'm a Sag. Yes. So another thing, I guess if you want to kind of put it in this way, and I'm not saying that you are, I would say Sagittariuses have the most tendency to be in, what is it called, polyamorous relationships, I guess? I think that's the terminology for it. Where, like, you have relationships but with multiple people, or, like, you're okay with just letting your partner be like, yeah, go off, do what you want, do your thing. Like, I'm cool with it. Like, I need my freedom. Like, I love you and I want to be in a relationship, but also I want to go and do my thing. Just, like, kind of casual. You know what I mean? I'll come home to you, but, like, also can I, like, go and do all of these things? Oh my God, not that separate. No, I know, that's what I said. Don't think I'm, like, but that sign and that tendency has, like, out of all of the signs, that is the one that is going to take on that kind of situation. Like, the swingers, the, yeah, I'm sorry. That's just, that's kidding. Yes, I understand. I know, out of all of the signs, you are not going to find a Taurus typically that's going to be okay with that. Or you're not going to find, you know what I mean? Like, it's not about that they don't love you or that they don't want to be with you. It's just that they want to go and they want to explore and they want to do and they want to have relationships with all these other people, and they feel like they could learn from being with other people, and they want to have adventures, and when they feel like they're being stuck, it's that fire energy. It's always burning. It's always charged. I love this so much, Sammy. I'm like, oh, Angelica, thank you so much. You're so sweet. Oh my God. Angelica just donated. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. Or, am I saying things that are hitting on the mark? Oh, Scorpio, I think the stinger would come out with that. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's so many things that influence that, but again, we're talking about the broad terminology and the broad energy of Sag. And if you think about it, someone like that is not going to be wanting to be held down or tied down too much. Again, it depends on what is being influenced in other areas of their chart or in their other partner or whatever, but I tend to see or hear things from Sagittarius as like, I just want to go and travel and learn and explore, and like that kind of energy in a relationship with somebody who is very like set and fixed and wants a home where they want to raise a family and stay secure. And you know, you have to bring some adventure to the table. You have to be able to learn and grow and be spontaneous and just get up and go and travel on a whim if you know, want to stay with a Sagittarius. It's just like their nature, you know. And again, there's pros and cons to everything. My mom and I are like the same person, except there's a lot of things within her that I have a hard time with because I am extremely earth. I have so much earth in my chart that I like ritual and routine, and I get fixed and I get bogged down into situations that are, you know, the same, and I like my comfort and my security, and I'm, you know, like that. And my mom is like very adventurous and go off and do this, and although I can take that on, I'm either looking at her and saying like, wow, I wish I had more of that, or like I want to take that energy and kind of like use it to get me going and get me, whatever. Or I'm looking at it like, you do you, honey. You go over there and do you, because I'm just gonna sit here. I'm real comfortable here. So it really just depends on how you're interacting with that sign and energy. And I feel like the times in which my mom and I might have like been butting heads or gotten not seen eye to eye, or, we have our differences, it's because of her fire energy and her need and want to like, do and travel and be free. And I'm like, just the opposite of that, But like I said, she's taught me a lot of how to use that kind of energy. My angels told me my future boyfriend is Leo. Only Leo can put up with my adventure energy. I love that. This is a definite challenge. Yeah. I think I missed. Oh my God, my mom and I disagree about that all the time. I tell her to go and start to live her life, and she has a Cancer. And now I realize why we are so polar opposites about this. That is what's so beautiful about astrology, because if you use it as a self-awareness tool, and you don't use it to pick apart somebody and find all their flaws, it's about learning that person and their energy and their tendencies, and that way you can learn, you can help to understand them better and see where they're coming from, and not try to change them, and not try to, argue with them over something that is just a difference in opinion or a difference in energy. I cannot stop touching my hair. I'm so sorry, you guys. I need to be more compassionate about her point of view. That's another thing about Sagittarius is, they don't mean any ill will. They really don't. They're not like vindictive. They're not like manipulative. They're not like, but they are so effing blunt and rash and harsh when they talk. They just open their mouths and shit comes out. And I have a hard time with that energy. Amen. Oh my God, this is like therapy. I'm so glad. I was raised by a Sagittarius, and my best friend, my grandma, is a Sagittarius. Like, sometimes I'm just like, Lord, shut your mouth. Like, you don't need to come off so harsh. Like, you do not need to say these things. Yes, astrology helps out in that way. Helps you read someone a little bit better and understand them. Nothing personal. No, honestly, because like I said, if you're thinking about some of the other signs, now we're talking about Libra, I could see how maybe a Libra and a Sag might have some difficulties, because a Libra's like, whoa, you just said that, and I know you didn't mean anything bad about it, but now everyone's uncomfortable, so like, can you like tone it back? And the Sag is just like, what? I didn't mean it. It's true. Like, here, let's just get it on the table. Like, whatever, it's all good. You do you. But the Libra's like, oh my gosh, so it's good. Like, there's that balance, What do I mean? But I do. We don't mean it, really. But Sag regret after they open their mouth. Yeah, word vomit, big time. Yes, a lot of the times it's just like, here's what I think. Here's the facts that I know about. Like, I know that I know someone that's giving me an example of a friend that they have that's just like, oh, your hair's a little off today. It's like, you don't need to point it out, and like, there is nothing that's gonna make it better about it, or like, wow, you're sure, it's just like this harsh, brash, open, fire, spontaneous, like, they don't really have a filter. That's a really good way of saying it. And while they don't necessarily, most of the time they don't mean it, it's just like, they can become very offensive to other people, because it's like, they just say whatever they want to say. Oh my God, yes, I could see that. I get so uncomfortable with any conflict around me, even when I'm not involved, from Libra moon. That's the I see energy. Exactly. They're literally going to tell you exactly what they see. They're just going to tell you. Like, oh, I see this. And some people are like, that's not appropriate. Sagittarius as well can be like really inappropriate. Like, and not, again, it's not like meaning to be, they're just like, they're loud energy. They're very loud energy. But they're also really, really optimistic. They're so positive. They're always looking on the positive sides of things. You're really not going to find a lot of Sagittariuses that are going to be tending to go towards the negative. They're always seeing the light and the possibility. It's like, let's switch up the situation. Like, if they do see or tend to get into a negative or like a more like down energy, they're very quick to switch it up. That fire energy is just gonna be like, no, let's go do this. Like, let's get out of the house. you know, we're feeling down, like let's go on a vacation, or let's go out to the movies, or let's go have a drink. They are my sun. I just stating the obvious. I find I have to focus on what I say before I say it, or I take it the wrong way. Oh my gosh, this live stream is going to totally go for 2 hours today, you guys. I'm so sorry. My son would say things sometimes, he's only 11, that I'm like, oh my god. I know! It's like so hard for me. I got a Virgo ascendant and a Taurus moon, and I'm just like, watch what you say. Like, oh my gosh. But at the same time, it's like, I sometimes don't say exactly what I want to, because I'm like so cautious about hurting other people's feelings, and then they get upset with me because I'm like, they're just like, tell me, just say it, you know? But Sagittarius are so funny. Again, my mom is like really blunt. Like, she is, and Mom, if you're watching this, I love you so much, and I don't mean anything bad about it. Like, it's just her personality. She doesn't even mean to, because she is really sensitive to other people's feelings. She does really take that into account, but she's going to be the first one to tell you, like, don't do this, or like, she's going to be the one that's going to tell you, like, well, here's what happened. Well, here it is. Take it or leave it. And like, I think I had a hard time with that growing up. But at the same time, like, I can see how, like, when my brother and I brought friends around and stuff, like, and they would talk to my mom about things, like, my mom was always, like, the go-to person for our friends that come over, and, like, my mom was, like, everybody else's mom, and, like, kind of, like, almost, like teacher. Like, she would teach them things, and school them on things, and, you know, give them the information that she could see, and she would know. If you're someone that doesn't want someone else's opinion, like, don't hang around with a Sag. But if you're seeking out, like, counsel in somebody, and you really want, like, the truth, like, just tell me what you think. Like, Sag is the person to go to, because they will. You can count on Sag for honesty. Oh my god, he's so funny, it's unbelievable, like a comedian. Yeah, like, they just say whatever the fuck they want. Him and my mom trade joking insults back and forth. Both Sagittarius, my dad and I are like, oh my god, he's Cancer. Okay. They're just extremely optimistic. They're always looking on the bright side. They see, like, the opportunities. So let's talk a little bit about Sagittarius in a moon. So if you have a Sagittarius moon, chances are your feelings or emotions are very expansive. They're very large scale. Whereas when we talked about Leo being moons in Leo, very dramatic feelings, and that doesn't have to be bad. It's more so like when you feel things like very dramatically, you know. If you're sad, you're really sad. If you're happy, you're really happy. But with Sagittarius, it's more of expansive. Like, your feelings are very big. I would say Sagittariuses really need to watch their alcohol consumption, because they want to go out, they want to party, they want to explore, they want to talk to people, they want to mingle, they want to, you know, learn and grow from others. And that situation is a lot of the times best easily related to parties, or drinking, or sitting around a campfire with your friends, or going out to the bar, or having a party. Like, they want, like, it's a party sign. It's one of the party signs, if not the biggest party sign, because it gives them that opportunity to go and talk and interact and stuff. And alcohol, most of the time, is an enabler for people to talk and to grow and to go and to party and be spontaneous. And so I find that a lot of people who are big drinkers tend to be Sagittarius energy, which is fine if you can keep a balance of it. Remember, there's pros and cons to everything. It's okay to have a good time. It's okay to go out to the bar. It's okay when you start to use and abuse it. That's when it becomes an issue. Oh shit, I got Sag, Virgo, and Pisces. Oh my god, alcohol and drugs. I mean, don't be scared of it, but is it something that you do find you need to check yourself on? Is it something that you tend towards? Is it something that you think that you may use and abuse sometimes? That's on you, you know? And like I said, when we were talking about Libra and, like, pills and weed and stuff, like, if you use it in the right way, and it could be beneficial to you, or it could be something that makes you happy, and that's fine. That's you do you, boo. Like, you have to, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not condoning you to do drugs or to be an alcoholic. I'm not doing that. It's more so there's signs that are more likely to be involved in these certain things, because when we talk about drugs and alcohol and stuff, it's an enabler for certain energies. And with Sagittarius, it's with drinking. And that's why they have sensitive livers, or they're susceptible to overuse to alcohol. So if you have somebody with liver issues, this could be just genetically because that's the energy you take on, or because of the fact that maybe you have had bouts of difficulties with alcohol. So I'm sorry if that's a trigger. I'm just bringing up what I know about this sign and what I've been taught and how I've interacted with certain Sages. My mom loves to have a beer with her husband and have her late nights, but she also knows her limits. So that's, you know, just take it for what it is, okay? People, take it for what it is. They're extremely funny. They're extremely funny. If you're not sensitive. So if you can handle them and you watch them, you're just like, oh my God, look at you go. You just do your thing. Free spirits. Okay, so the other thing about Sagittarius is that it is the religious sign. And what I mean about religious, this could be, and the psychological, they want to learn and they want to see the big picture. They're very interested in what's the meaning of life. They're very, if you have somebody that's really, really religious, following either like Christianity or any sort of religion, or spirituality as a blanket term with, meditation or yoga or prayer, like honestly, they are extremely connected with a higher power, a bigger picture. They're very influenced by wanting to learn and grow through some sort of higher power or entity. So I would say that falls into the category of religion. I'd say that it's a little bit more common to find Sagittarius people as just overall spirituality instead of like, so if you have someone that's like extremely Catholic, there's probably signs in there mixed with like Cancer, with tradition, maybe being brought up in a family or a home that was studying Catholicism, so you took that on. So like Sag, Cancer together would be maybe influenced in that way. Or, you see how the combination of things would tend to lean you towards like certain aspects of religions for certain reasons. So if there was not a really huge upbringing, or maybe you've embraced a Sag in a more general energy, it's going to be like spirituality as a blanket tool, trying to learn and grow through yourself and through others, wanting to be connected as one, really like free spirits, wanting to travel the country in a van, like to get closer to God and the earth and every other people. And yeah, I can relate to that. Spirituality overall in general. Don't like to be pinned down by something specific though. Very eclectic. Yeah. So yeah, if you could think about like what I said about like they don't want to be pinned down to something. That's why most of the time it's going to be like a blanket spirituality term, unless you have energies like maybe Virgo or, things that are going to help you pinpoint or stay more connected with a certain religious. Bye, everyone's leaving, so I am going to wrap it up. I want to make sure I'm not, because this is almost 2 hours already, you guys. I really tried. We skipped last week, so I got really out of hand with this week's. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything else here, but so like psychologists, my grandma's a Sag and she went to college for psychology. They're really interested in teaching, but also learning from those who they teach, because of the fact that it's a give and take and they want to learn as much as they want to grow. They're really good with children as well, even though they might not want them for themselves, just because that fire energy gives them a little bit of like a childlike way of seeing and viewing, and they have a lot of energy, which a lot of kids tend to have. So talking about the body parts again, you might, if you have Sagittarius energy or you are a Sagittarius, you tend to have hip issues or hip problems. You need to be very careful. You need to make sure that you are stretching properly if you're doing any running exercise. Long distance runners, marathon runners, long biking, anything that's going to be outdoors that's going to do long, they're not the sprint runners, they're the long distance. I was just saying bye to Bunny Kisses. I'm still here. Oh, okay. I have a question about the next book selection before I go. We don't know yet. I talked about 2 in the beginning of this. If you watch the playback, I was sent 2 books, and somebody else sent me another, or is trying to send me another book through my wish list. But it's not here yet. So if you're the person that did that, I really want to know who sent it to me so we can figure it out, because I would hate for that money to go to waste. And honestly, it's a book I really want. These are 2 books that I have up for option: The Witch's Shield and Earth Magic. So look these up and let me know what you guys think. Or if you have any other suggestions, you can Instagram or DM me, you know, or email me, or comment down below on this playback. We have 1 more week of this, and then we're moving on to another book. Will both books be read? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for doing, oh, Naughty Angel Girl. Thank you guys so much for donating to this. Thank you so much. It means the world to me, and it just, I love this so much. So thank you guys so much. Will both books be read? If we choose Earth Magic, will the next book be Witch's Shield? No, not necessarily. I just, yeah, I want to give you guys enough time to buy it, but I don't know yet. I just received these in the mail, so I'm just letting you know that it's a good chance that one of these 2 books will be our next book. So look into these, let you guys know, and I will look through them again and let you know. You're fab, Naughty Angel Girl. Thank you so much, and I just really appreciate it. So let me know what you guys think about these 2 books, or if you have any other suggestions. We will pick one next week. So you will have a whole week to get it or to look into it. So I will try to give you as much time as possible, but I don't know yet. So I'm putting these 2 up for grabs, or put these up. So if you want to look into them and let me know, if I will announce it and we will pick it next week, okay? I'm trying to think of anything else other than, oh, so the last thing I want to say, I hope that helps you guys. But again, so if you missed me or you came in late, after next week, we will not be doing the only astrology book you'll ever know. We will not be continuing with the signs on Monday. We will continue with another book after next week. So we still have 3 more signs to go over. And then we will be, I will still continue to do astrology live streams. I would like to do a whole astrology live stream on Mercury retrograde so that y'all can understand the real deal with Mercury retrograde, and you can stop the post about, oh my God, Mercury retrograde. I want to do a whole live stream on Mercury retrograde. We've talked about doing a live stream about the signs and the planets versus characters in books and movies, which I think would be really fun. I will announce those as I go, and we will be doing those sporadically. So if you're not, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I highly suggest that you do, and that's honestly not as much of a plug for me as it is for you guys, because that is how I announce my live streams most of the time. I will remind you of when I'm going live, or I will announce if I'm going live on a whim through my Instagram stories. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I highly suggest that you do. It's at Cloud9 Studios. It's normally linked down below when the playback is live, or you can probably just look up Samantha Menzo, my name, and it'll pop up as well. So that's normally how I do that. I would love to continue with astrology and dive deeper, but I don't want to stay. I would like to keep Witchy Book Club going and keep learning new books and discussing new topics. I don't want this to just be me teaching and talking at you. I just thought that this was a great way for us to cover astrology, because it's something that you guys have been asking me to do forever now. So, so you have the Witch's Shield book, and I haven't had time to look at it, so I would love to get into that one. It looks like most of the people actually have this and are more interested in this. This is honestly exciting. I'm so glad you want to take some time to do an astrology one. Hopefully it's a day and a time I can. Yeah, so I mean, I'll let you guys know via my Instagram, or I will try, if I know I'm going to be scheduling a live stream, I will try to put it up as an event on YouTube so that you guys can like turn on the notification bell and be reminded about it, or so that you have a knowing of like, here's the day and time in which I'm going live, so check it out kind of thing. But that's my plan. I would love to continue talking deeper and getting further into natal charts and transits and deeper things. But for now, we're just going over the basics, which is still kind of overwhelming. And I see like you guys are really interested in getting it really well. if you guys don't have any other questions for me, I am gonna get going. The only last thing that I think is really important that I didn't mention about Sagittarius is the ascendant. So I do want to clarify that really quickly or kind of go over it. Sagittarius is, there's a couple things I didn't go over with Sagittarius. The symbol is the centaur, or the horse, or the archer. So it's about seeing your target from long distance and being able to mark at it. So that's where that comes from. That's where that arrow comes from. They tend to have physically, if you have an ascendant in Sagittarius, you might not have a round oval face. You might have a long, and I say this with the utmost respect, horse-like long face, long nose, long jawline, like very like kind of chiseled jawline, or you might have really thick thighs, sisters. You might have really big hips and thick thighs, very curvy body, but more so like in the hip region. You might tend to carry your weight in your thighs and in your hips. Unfortunately, that's just where you carry your weight. Other people carry it in other places. But for Sagittarius in their ascendant, that's tending to be where you hold. When Sag gets to their destination, they want to move on to the next thing. Exactly. That's really cute. And the other thing is that because Jupiter is the planet of expansion and growth and opportunity and growth and abundance, if you have Jupiter on your ascendant, or if you have a Sagittarius ascendant, you have a tendency to gain weight very easily because of the fact that your body wants to store everything and gain it in abundance and expansion and whatever. Or if your the planet of Jupiter, of like the home. So if you have Sagittarius in your 4th house, or if you have Jupiter in your 4th house, you might be putting on an addition to your home, or you might have a very large home, or a very large family, very large foreign family. Is this starting to make sense to you guys, how you can combine things together to make associations with certain things? I could go on and on and on, but I really wanted to cover that because I think that that's important and we haven't gone over the ascendant. Okay, guys, we're over 2 hours now. If you don't have any other questions, I am going to get going. Next week, we are going to be completing the zodiac signs. So we are going to be going over Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And we will be completing the astrology book, the only astrology book you'll ever need for our Witchy Book Club sessions. And again, I will be continuing. Thank you so much, Crow Girl. Thank you again, Angelica, for your donation to the live stream. And Naughty Angel Girl, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. If you can't donate, that's fine. I hate the word donate, but you guys know, like, you guys know what I'm saying. I don't have to reiterate myself. I just really appreciate it. This fills me with so much love and joy and passion, and I'm just so great with the response that you guys have had with this. I am almost to 2,000 subscribers. I literally cannot believe that. I just hit 1,000 subscribers in December, you guys. I am blown away at all of my new friends that have come here. And I would love to hit 2,000 by the end of this month, but there's only a couple days left, so I don't know if that's gonna happen. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Thank you all so much, and I will see you this week. I'm pumping out some good videos now. I'm inspired, but next magical day. Bye. Oh my gosh, this went for so long.